I moved 3,000 miles away. What's up, y'all? It's been a minute. I took a little break from YouTube for obvious reasons that this video is gonna explain, but it has been a whirlwind of a few months. If you don't know, I moved from Los Angeles to New York City, and it has been the move of a lifetime. And that is coming from someone who went to 2 different high schools. Like, I lived in 10 different states, like 4 different countries. I have moved everywhere, but nothing has really changed me the way that this move has. So basically, I graduated from UCLA, where I ran track for 4 years. I loved it. I love my besties, Nene, everybody. And I had no idea what I was gonna do, because track paid for school, they paid for food, they paid for healthcare, they paid my rent, they paid for my little shopping sprees, they paid groceries. Like, track paid for everything, NIL paid for everything. So as soon as I graduated and I didn't have any more eligibility to run, I was like, I literally had no idea what I was gonna do next. My main goal, or like the main thing that I wanted to do, was I wanted to stay in LA. I loved LA, and to this day, LA is one of my favorite cities in the world. I love specifically Westwood, Beverly. That's home, right? But I didn't have money and I didn't have a job. And if you don't know, the job market right now it's absolutely horrible. It's disgusting. And I had been applying to jobs maybe like 6 months up until graduation. Didn't get a single job. I graduated with communications, that was my degree, but I also worked an internship in high fashion the summer before my senior year. I loved it. It was everything that I could have ever dreamed of. I worked under somebody really important. We worked with a lot of really big brands. Guys, just know it was the opportunity of a lifetime, and I wish that I could have continued on with them, but I had to basically quit when track got serious, the beginning of senior year. So again, I am at like ground zero in LA. There's this thing about the fashion industry where it really thrives off of struggle, especially if you're first going into it. So it doesn't matter your education level, it doesn't really matter all that. Unless you know somebody, you are gonna be working for almost 6 months to a year straight with little to no pay. And that's just kind of how it is. That's just kind of how it always has been. Like, you watch movies like The Devil Wears Prada, where you're working insane hours of the week and you're getting paid like zilch, right? And you're working for these crazy brands too. Like, oh, like I would want to wear that. Nope, it costs $10,000, but whatever. That's not important. But I'm saying that with the jobs that I was getting in fashion when I was in LA, or the people that were responding to me, could not sustain the life I wanted to live in LA. Like, that's just the truth. So I moved back home, South Carolina, and I lived with my family for a little bit, and I hated it. I was miserable, I was depressed, I was sad, I had no friends. It was not cute. I didn't really go to high school in South Carolina. I went to high school there for a year and a half, but my friends had moved, you know, they were starting their own life, which is real of them. The other place I went to high school was close to Washington, DC, so not even close. And then my parents moved to a really small town, so I wasn't even like near anything. We're like 35 minutes from the closest Walmart. There's like nothing to do, nothing. And so I was at home sad, and I was like, okay, you know, I might like create content, like do that, but I was just feeling so uninspired. And the summer actually wasn't too bad, because I went to Tokyo to visit my boyfriend. He ran at the Tokyo World Championships. So that was really cool. But as soon as I came home, again, I was like sad. It just wasn't me. And then I also went through a period where I was really, really sick. I had like some ovarian issues going on, a little bit of a TMI, but like it's undiagnosed. I don't know what's going on. People don't listen to Black women. I went to like so many different doctors. Nobody knows what's going on. So we'll figure it out. I'm doing a lot better now, obviously. I hope you were worried about me. But just all of that coupled together, being in my childhood bedroom, being at home every day, and it wasn't it. And to think like when you're at home, you're supposed to be saving money and things like that. But I feel like being at home and being depressed only like skyrocketed my shopping addiction. I have a nasty, nasty shopping addiction, like not on no funny shit, like a real life shopping addiction. And so it wasn't a great place to be. I was like, if I'm gonna be spending money, let me be somewhere cool and spend money. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to my parents about moving to New York. My parents weren't really willing to help me if I was gonna be that far away from home, as in if I was still gonna be in LA. but they're definitely a lot more willing to help me if I'm an hour flight from them now. And so I'm having this conversation with them. My mom's immediately like, yeah, of course. Like, that sounds like a great idea, Allie. Talk to my dad. He kind of goes along with the same thing mommy is saying. And then started talking to my brother. This guy, he's like, what the heck, Allie? I was trying to move to New York for the last 3 years. Like, what you saying? You gonna move to New York? I'm like, Ace, move to New York with me. He's like, wait, Loki, you right. You're right. So it has now become a joint intervention. Okay, 2 people are moving to New York. I'm looking for 2 bedrooms now. And then also looking for jobs. I'm looking for jobs in New York. I'm applying to no avail. No one is even emailing me back. And it's to the point where like, I'm applying for things that, this is like cocky, whatever. I'm applying for things that I feel like I'm overqualified for. I have a degree. And then I'm also, sorry guys, there's so many things I have not updated you guys on. I am also getting my MBA. I decided to enroll in online school at South Carolina State University, my parents' HBCU, my brother's HBCU, and get my MBA. So like, I'm dual educated. I'm a student athlete. Like, I feel like that's like things that job people look for, and I'm not getting anything. So my brother has a clothing brand and it's called Suburban Hood. He lives for this clothing brand. And my mom was like, you know what? I feel like Suburban Hood could be something. If you guys decide to take Suburban Hood seriously, we'll be even more inclined to help you move to New York. And so I was like, of course. So I stopped applying to jobs and, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take Suburban Hood seriously. And that's kind of where we're at, you guys. I'm in New York. I'm working with my brother on this clothing brand. I have made one friend out here. Her name is Nia. She's a cutie, and she was introduced to me like by a friend of a friend's friend. So it's like such a random coincidence, but I love her. And I'm linking with a couple more people that I knew before I moved out here, and they're also slowly moving out here. So it's been a little bit of a journey. It's been a slow whirlwind, but I obviously wouldn't change anything so far. That's the one thing. I have decided to love my life, and I always have. It's just a decision. I don't know if my mom taught me it, but it's like, make every decision, take every step with pride, and that's kind of what I do. I try not to regret things. You know, I try to regret so little that I love my life. I wouldn't change the school I went to. I wouldn't change the friends that I made, the mistakes that I made, the arguments that I had. These are just things that are natural in life, and so it just feels so right to be confident in the steps that I'm taking and where I'm going. So this year, it's 2026. Goals this year, I really want to travel. Since I'm not technically working and I'm just working with my brother on this brand, I have a lot more free time. And so I definitely want to travel more. My boyfriend is a professional athlete, so he runs out of the country a lot of times at meets. And for the last 4 years, I couldn't go to many of those meets except for like the really big ones. But now I want to go to Botswana with him. I want to go to Switzerland. I want to go to Germany. There's so many places I want to go. And then I'm also going to be back and forth from LA. I've gone once already for a little bit of a party, whatever, and then I'm going again in May to watch my bestie compete. And then I might go again for a brand deal. So I love LA. LA is still in my heart, and it's never like gonna be Allie's not back in LA because I love it. Why I feel like this move is so important for you if you have the means or the flexibility to is because I feel like our body sometimes needs a reset. And I feel like lately we have been so focused on rebranding and just like things like changing my aesthetic, things like that, where sometimes it really is the environment, the people that you're around, the spaces that you're in. Have you been there forever? Are you in this small town that you grew up in? Are you in the state, the side of the country, whatever that you grew up in? And you feel static, you feel stuck. And this is coming from someone who, I never lived anywhere longer than 2 years until I went to college, which is a crazy concept. The longest place I've ever lived is 3 years when I lived in Los Angeles. And maybe this is like, I'm probably like the most nomadic person that you know, but I feel like moving is so great because I have made so many mistakes. Again, do not regret them, but starting over feels so fresh. Starting over feels like when your pillow is hot at night, you flip to the other side and it's cool. That is what starting over is like. That is what moving is like. That is what throwing everything away, and whether that's buying vintage, buying new again, starting your life over, making new friends, changing up your scenery, changing up your pace can really change you for the better. And I know this firsthand because of how depressed I was at home, how sad I was. So moving to New York, not just the city, but just the new environment in general, has been such a light in my life, the light that I really needed. And there's something special about not knowing where to go. And I feel like it's literal, but also metaphoric. But leaving my house, getting on the train and like getting lost or not knowing where to go, there is a slight art to it, because it's like, oh my gosh, I just ended up in this random small area in Koreatown and I just happened to find my new favorite restaurant, which is literally true. It's right outside the Empire State Building. But you find the best things when you're not looking for them, and stuff like that really only happens when you're in a new environment. So this is basically my life right now. So much more New York content is coming. I'm so excited for the journey that I have ahead of me. So many big plans that I have, so many big goals that will be accomplished. I'm just really excited for this chapter, for this journey. I hope you guys are excited for your own chapter, your own journey. If you want to follow me along the way, I would absolutely love that. So yeah, okay, I'll see you guys in my next video.